Well, hello lovelies, today is it. I am finally doing another bullet journal idea video. Today we're doing Mountains and Trees header ideas for your bullet journal. I am so sorry this has taken me so unbelievably long to put together, but I hope it's packed full of good information for you. I've covered a lot of topics in the last week and a half related to this, so I hope that it's going to be really, really awesome for you. Let's jump right into it. I do have chapters now, finally, on my channel, so you should be able to skip ahead to the topics that you care about the most. But first, we're going to talk just briefly about tips for drawing trees and mountains and how you can apply that to your bullet journals. Also, we're going to very briefly talk about how I come up with bullet journal ideas. And then lastly, we will talk about my materials and jump right into the actual ideas themselves. We will go through the inking first, and then the watercolor, and then final details on top. And we'll talk more about that as we dive in. So first, we're going to talk about tips for drawing trees and mountains. So this was actually an extensive live stream, which is available both on my Twitch and on my YouTube channel, but it's over 4 hours long, which I know a lot of people don't have time for. So what I'm going to talk about just briefly while we look through some of the examples from that live stream, I'm just going to give you 5 tips really quickly that I think are the most important tips for taking things from real life and bringing them into bullet journal ideas. First, tip number 1, I think it is best to draw from life. I was really resistant to life drawing when I first started art college, and then as I started to go through college, I realized how much drawing from life actually did improve my skills, especially when it came to drawing things realistically or drawing things to appear more 3D. If you are drawing from pictures, and if pictures are your only option, they do work, that's totally okay, but when you're drawing from pictures, you're taking a 2D image and you're trying to replicate another 2D image from that reference. And you lose form, you lose movement, you lose shadows and textures, because when you look at a picture, you're actually looking at the interpretation of a camera of what that object actually was. And sometimes when the camera flattens an image, it can warp, it can affect the lighting and the color. It's just much better when you're first starting to learn how to draw from life and to take from the mountains and rocks and trees that are around you in your environment or when you travel. Eventually, once you start taking in those realistic things, you can start to move towards stylization, and it'll look more real, more based in reality. Even if it's completely stylized, it will feel more real if you can apply certain things that you learned from drawing realistically. Number 2, I recommend focusing on shape rather than the details when drawing realistically, and especially when drawing with trees. If you can get your proportions and your perspective and your shapes correct, you're going to have a better final result than drawing in every single tiny leaf that you see. Number 3, it can be helpful to pay attention to the negative space between the branches and the leaves to help with spacing. This can also help when doing tree trunks, if you look at the things around the tree instead of directly at the trunk itself. Also, if you're drawing like a forest or multiple trees next to each other, or when you're drawing flowers, it can be helpful to look at the negative space to make sure that you are spacing out things in relation to each other correctly. Number 4, finding the right shading is more important than the outline, especially when going for realism. When you're doing realism, there is no outlines in real life. So the more you outline things, the more stylized and cartoon and unrealistic it will look, which is helpful when doing bullet journaling, but not helpful when drawing realistically. You'll find, unless drawing realistically comes naturally to you, that drawing realistically is very, very, very difficult. But the thing is, if you tackle the most difficult thing first, it's much easier in the long run to simplify than it is to go from simple designs back into realism. So I always recommend starting from real life and then bringing it down into a stylization until you feel comfortable jumping right into the stylization, knowing the things that you know about perspective, shape, negative space, shading, gradients, and can apply that to the stylized design. Number 5, when working on mountains and rocks, creating the right texture will help to make it look more realistic or more believable, whether you're drawing realistically or drawing stylized. If you want to make it feel like a mountain or a rock texture, you're going to need to make sure you get that marking correctly. So what I mean by that is, if you're using pens, that means you're probably going to end up doing some sort of cross-hatching or line work that will represent the shadows of the rock itself. If you're doing pencils, you're probably going to do a gradient with the graphite, or if you're doing watercolors, you would do lots of gradient layers to make those different crevices and shadows on the rocks. Creating texture is what's going to make it feel more like a rock and less like a blob. So those are my top 5 tips. Like I said, if you want to dive into the long live stream, I give lots and lots and lots of tips. And I also walk you through everything step by step, very slow, which is great for people that really want to learn. It's a pretty in-depth lesson, but it is my first ever time teaching and live streaming at the same time. So there are a few little bumps along the way with some sound issues and things like that. So you probably will have to skip ahead a little bit. I probably should add chapters into that video. That might be something that I'll end up doing. But if you really, really want a detailed, slow lesson, that's going to be the video for you. Now I just want to briefly touch on what I did next. I also did a live stream, which I do not have on my YouTube channel yet, but I may post it. And if I do, I will link it in the description box below. But it is available on Twitch as a highlight, named How I Come Up with Unique Bullet Journal Ideas. What I did was I basically went through the pencil drawings for the daily designs, and I talked about how I come up with my ideas step by step, and I offer suggestions how you can as well. So if you're interested in that, if you're interested in learning how to come up with unique ideas rather than taking from other people, or relying on other people, I should say, to come up with ideas. If you want to learn how to be a little bit more creative, you want to learn about my process and how I make all of these videos, you can watch that tutorial again on Twitch, and I may have it on YouTube at some point. I think I'm going to upload it. If you'd like to see more things like that, please do let me know in the comment box below, because I am starting to delve a little bit more into the longer lessons, like hour and a half lessons. I'm not going to put them all on YouTube because my particular audience on YouTube doesn't seem to like the longer lessons, but if you'd like to see some more, please let me know in the comments. Like always, I always listen to everyone's suggestions that takes the time to leave comments. Now we're going to move into the inking. Friendly reminder, you can always adjust the video speed if you feel like this is too fast or too slow. I always get lots of criticisms on that, but I can't please everyone. Every time I make it faster, I have people telling me to slow it down, and every time I slow it down, I have people telling me to make it faster. I tried to do a speed I feel like you can see the design and kind of process exactly how I'm handling it. But I think if you really, really like slow designs, you're probably going to want to hang out with me on live streaming when I work through ideas, because I can't make these into super long videos. They don't do as well. As usual, I'm using microns, and I use an 08, an 03, an 02, an 01, and I think a little bit of a 005 in this video. I'm also using the triangle T-square, the triangle square with circles, one of my favorite tools ever. And I'm going to be using Winsor Newton watercolors as well when we jump into the watercolor. As always, my materials are linked in the description box below. Full disclosure, they are Amazon affiliate links, which means if you click on those links and purchase anything through Amazon, I will get a commission. That helps me to keep supporting this channel, so I would really appreciate it if you plan to buy things from Amazon. Just click on that link first, and you can order whatever you want, and I will get a little bit of a kickback. So thank you to those of you that do that. You are helping to allow me to keep making more, spend time making more of these videos for you guys to enjoy. During the next part of this video, I am going to go through all of the inking first, then the watercolors, and then we're going to finish off with the example month, day, year, and how you would place those in. The reason why I do that is because everything gets scanned in. The black and white gets scanned in, then the color with no details gets scanned in, and then the final results get scanned in. The reason I do that is because everyone who's signed up for my mailing list for March of 2021, that's the time when this video is being posted, will get free downloadable copies of the black and white and color version, and anyone who has access to my paid library will have all of my designs downloadables available. It's currently not for sale. That was a gift that I gave somebody, but eventually the library will be for sale as a pass. So once that's available, I'll link it in the description box below for all of my videos, but it's not available yet as of the posting of this video. But if you sign up for the mailing list, this month you will get the free downloadables, or you can just head on over to my website, and I will link that in the description box below to see the final results with the dates, so that you can still freely get the ideas off of my website and use them as you see fit. Do keep in mind, these are for personal use only. I put that in the description box of all my videos, but I've noticed some people have been copying my designs and trying to sell them as their own. Please don't do that. These are my designs. I do own the copyright to them, and I will pursue copyright infringement. But I do love everyone to use my designs for personal use. Please use them freely in your own journals. That's what they're there for. Just don't try to sell them, because they are mine. As always, I'm just going to reiterate it one more time. Feel free to leave feedback, questions, or future topic theme suggestions in the comment box. I try to respond to everyone. Sometimes that becomes a little difficult when the video gets older. For some reason, I don't always get all of my comment notifications, but I try to go back periodically and check in with people. The cool thing about live streaming on Twitch is that you can pop on Mondays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, or Sundays and ask me any questions your heart desires, and I will be happy to answer them. So if you don't want to leave a comment in the comment box, or if I don't happen to see your comment, please do head on over to Twitch if I am streaming and say hi and ask your questions. I'd be happy to help you out over there. It's really easy to get direct feedback, and I'm a pretty small channel still over on Twitch, so I can also give you feedback on your work or check out on what you're working on. It's a fun way to be more interactive with me, and it's been a lot of fun so far. So if you want to head on over there, I will link that in the description box below as well. Lots of goodies down there for you to look at. All right, I'm going to leave you alone now to enjoy the rest of the drawing with some music, and I'll check back in with you at the end of this video. that's it. Here's the finished designs. As I mentioned previously, they are available on my website, and if you sign up for the mailing list, you'll get the free downloadables of the black and white and the watercolor versions during the March 2021 mailing list newsletter. You can also find them in my library, which is will be available for purchase within the next few months, which has all of my designs in free downloadable format for a small flat rate fee. Once that's available, I will link it in the description box below. I'm going to reiterate it just one more time. Feel free to leave any feedback, questions, or future topic theme suggestions in the comment box below. I also will run anonymous polls on the community tab section. I love doing that. I always have at least one poll up and running, so please don't forget to head on over to the community tab to leave your opinion anonymously if you don't feel like leaving a comment. Thank you to everyone who takes the time to subscribe, like, and leave comments. It helps my channel to grow and for me to be able to keep doing what I'm doing here, and for that I am eternally grateful. Thanks so much, and until next time, remember to create, love, and travel on. I'll see you soon. Bye!